All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Trump versus DeSantis battle, which is heating up by the day. Tucker Carlson weighs in on who he prefers. He answers that question directly. Well, kind of. Somebody asks him that question, and then he finds a way to, do his little tap dance around it. We will talk about Donald Trump's new free speech policy platform and how he doesn't mean it. He's a liar, and his actions have already proven that. We have Joe Biden siding with Donald Trump on the issue of Israel and Palestinian human rights. And then later on, we'll show you Fox News defending Elon Musk being deeply anti-free speech now. That's, delicious. And then also, somehow, Jesse Waters of Fox News loses a debate to the head of the Satanic Temple. I don't know how you do that, but he did it. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, Politico has this report that came out a few days ago that I wanted to share with you. I find this very interesting. So you can see the dividing lines already starting between Trump and DeSantis. You can see the camps emerging, and you can see the issues that are areas of disagreement. So Politico says this: scenes from a celebration of the same-sex marriage law at Mar-a-Lago. What? Now you're going to see that's not really an accurate description. Trump had an event at Mar-a-Lago for what's called the Log Cabin Republicans, which is like the gay Republican group. And this wasn't actually a celebration of the new gay marriage law that just passed, but it was like generally a pro-gay event. And this is at odds with how DeSantis is positioning himself going into 2024. So here's what they say. Hundreds of guests in tuxedos of all styles and colorful gowns sipped on Trump-branded champagne and martinis between courses of steak and bite-sized key lime pie. That sounds fucking delicious. I could definitely go for some bite-sized key lime pie. They danced to YMCA and Macho Man, Trump classics, the disco anthems at Trump rallies. Thursday night's Log Cabin Republican Spirit of Lincoln Gala in the main ballroom of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago Beachfront Club was a joyous celebration of gay rights. In a case of ironic timing, the historic same-sex marriage law signed by President Joe Biden's days earlier. The long-planned event in honor of the conservative LGBTQ organization's 45th anniversary brought in Republican notables like former Ambassador Rick Grenell, Representative Kat Cammack, and former State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus, who emceed the evening in a feathered turquoise gown, super gay if I don't say so myself, and former GOP gubernatorial candidate from Arizona, Kari Lake, who was swarmed by guests eager to meet her and take a photo. But the main attraction, obviously, was Trump. He received a standing ovation after delivering an enthusiastic affirmation of gay rights, not often heard in the GOP. Quote, "We are fighting for the gay community, and we are fighting and fighting hard." The former president and 2024 candidate said, "With the help of many of the people here tonight, in recent years, our movement has taken incredible strides. The strides you've made here is incredible." Throughout the evening, speakers praised Trump for his embrace of the gay community. They credited him for his initiatives to combat the criminalization of homosexuality, his work pushing for public health initiatives to combat the HIV epidemic, and for appointing the first openly gay cabinet member, Grenell, as Director of National Intelligence. Trump and his administration had a mixed record on LGBTQ issues. He's been criticized for driving a wedge between the gay and trans communities. Remember, he banned trans people from the military. And for promoting extreme religious liberty policies and executive orders they say allowed for discrimination against LGBTQ people that pushed the movement backwards. The Log Cabin Republicans' first female executive director, Jerry Ann Henry, resigned in 2019 over the group's decision to endorse Trump. The Log Cabin Gala came just days after the Respect for Marriage Act was passed with the support of 39 House Republicans and 12 GOP senators and signed into law by Biden, but the issue of same-sex marriage has continued to spark debate inside the GOP. Conservative Christian and right-wing groups lobbied against the legislation, arguing that it stepped on religious liberties. So they go on to point out here, even 55% of Republicans support gay marriage now, and 71% of Americans overall support gay marriage. So this is, honestly, at this point, this is an open and shut issue. This is, people are solidly on the side of being pro-gay rights. And to pander to the evangelical fundamentalists, while that has been the strategy in Republican primaries to this point, is that still the path moving forward? Well, then we also get this fact. In an interview with Fox News earlier this week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a Trump rival widely viewed as a top GOP hopeful in 2024, said there was, quote, no need for the Respect for Marriage Act, and called the right's concerns over religious liberty, quote, valid. Wow. So here we go. Trump is positioning himself as more pro-gay, even though, again, his record is mixed, and if anything, I would argue more negative than positive. But DeSantis is saying, no, I'm not pro-gay. Against the Respect for Marriage Act passing, saying the religious liberties concerns are valid. Look, here's the thing. That law was a compromise law. The Respect for Marriage Act was a compromise. It allowed gay marriage to still be a right, but allowed religious individuals who don't want to marry a gay couple to say, I object, I'm not going to marry that couple. Now, nobody would accept that logic for an interracial couple, right? Like, if a black and a white person want to get married, and a church is like, we don't marry your kind here, people be like, oh, well, you're a bigot, you're racist, and this is fucking terrible, and it shouldn't even be allowed. But on gay issues, this is the compromise position they came to. Now, I would have preferred it not be a compromise. It just protects gay marriage across the board. But we couldn't get that through because we tried to get that through, and the Republicans fucking blocked it. So if you tell me, hey, this law or no law, I take this law, but it's still a compromise position. Now, Ron DeSantis is also lying when he says, well, there's no reason for this. There's no need for this. He's lying because the only reason Democrats picked this up in the House and the Senate is because Clarence Thomas said in no uncertain terms in the decision that overturned Roe versus Wade, hey, we should look at Obergefell next. Obergefell is the gay marriage case. He was saying, let's overturn gay marriage next. So of course there's a reason to do this. Absolutely. And now DeSantis is positioning himself as anti-gay. So positioning himself more to appeal to the crowd of base Republicans for the primary upcoming. In the same way, he's pandering to anti-vax concerns among the Republican base. I'm telling you, he's plotting his way around intelligently. Now, on this one, look, I actually think that even among Republican primary voters, this is more of a wash of an issue now. So in other words, if you're vocally anti-gay, I don't think that helps you. If you're deeply anti-gay and you express that all the time, I don't think that helps you anymore. In a Republican primary, maybe the move is almost like agnosticism, like just don't say anything on the issue, right? But Trump is leaning a little more pro-gay, DeSantis is leaning more anti-gay. I don't think, even though Trump has 55% with him and DeSantis has 45% with him, I don't think this issue is going to save Trump, because he's been imploding in so many other ways that, tacitly accepting some semblance of gay rights is not going to help him. Trump did not mention the law in his speech, the Respect for Marriage Act, but attendees at the gala were quick to credit the former president. For all his recent missteps, they said he has gone further on LGBTQ rights than many others in the GOP. Charles Morin, president of the Log Cabin Republicans, challenged other 2024 hopefuls to also say they are willing to fight for gay rights. Quote, I just heard a Republican candidate for president stand up and say he is willing to fight, and I challenge every other Republican to make the same pledge Donald Trump made tonight. I'm going to hold all candidates to the same standard, he added in a later interview. We're really at a place now where we're going to have an open election, and there are going to be other Republicans running, and we have a responsibility to look at the entire Republican field. Anyway, so you guys get the gist of it. This is another rift on the right. This is an area where, look, on vaccines also, I think Trump is more correct than DeSantis. On this, I think Trump is more correct than DeSantis. But DeSantis, again, is skyrocketing in the polls while Trump is imploding in the polls. And I don't know how many more strikes Trump can take against him before he's roadkill. It is funny. What's happening now with Trump is what people thought would happen in 2015 and 2016. We're like, oh, he'll fizzle out and then everybody will hate him. And it's like, that didn't happen back then, but now it looks like it's happening. So we'll see. But the two big dogs are going to fight over gay marriage and gay rights. I'll love to see. I think if they actually debate this on stage, Trump will literally implode, and he'll say both things at the same time. Like, I'm pro-gay marriage, and I'm also anti-gay marriage. I don't think he'll know how to actually stay consistent with a line. And again, that'll hurt him. So, interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. I can't wait to see what else they're going to fight over. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.